dark. I think a lot of us didn't see that coming, especially here in California. And it was dark. It was a dark time, and we all got really down and really sad, and then maybe really angry. But the good news, and I'm going to sort of make this a little quicker, the good news is that out of that darkness is a huge opportunity sitting in front of us. Because just like all of us are gathered here today, people are gathering like this all over the country. I can tell you that we have been meeting with folks across San Diego County in rooms just like this, crowds just like this, some bigger, some smaller, organizing to get things done, right? So if you thought you were alone and you thought we didn't have any options, we're here to tell you that you absolutely do. We have some options. And anybody hear about someone named Andy Puzder today? It took a long time. It took a lot of phone calls. It took some really good journalism, right? Our media was stepping up a little bit and digging into the facts about him. So we need to encourage them also. What was that? And Oprah. There we go. Whatever it takes.
The employees.
Right, exactly.
Protesting every day.
Exactly. So, I mean, there were folks from San Diego who drove up this week to protest in Anaheim at the headquarters. There were thousands of people gathered there and in St. Louis. And I think they heard us. I think they heard us. And like Brad said, they scare a little easier than we thought, right? So when we organize and when we're loud, we can get things done. It's historic that Betsy DeVos had to go to the vice president casting the deciding vote. Puzder out. Flynn out 3 weeks into the administration. And things are starting to unravel. I've been away from the news a little bit today, but do things start to unravel a little bit more for 45? Absolutely. So we're going to keep that pressure on by organizing events like this. And I want to step back because I heard a story today and it reminds me why we're organizing. So here in San Diego, we know that we're a city of immigrants and refugees. A lot, right? We have a lot of immigrants and refugees here in San Diego, and it makes us stronger and it makes us a better city. And the ICE raids started last week, and the sweeps started last week, and people started getting pulled over by ICE agents in our North County. That hits really close to home. And I was talking to somebody today and found out that one of the people swept up in that ICE raid was a mom from Guatemala who had gotten up here with her toddler. And she was picked up by ICE, she was detained, and her toddler was left alone.
What?
Alone. And later was picked up by authorities and taken to a shelter. But there are very real people that are being hurt by what's happening. And so, sorry, that one made me a little emotional. I can see it on your face too. That made me really angry. It made me hurt, but it also made me dig deeper and harden, strengthen my resolve that we're going to fight back because we can't let that happen. We can't let families be torn apart. The same consequences are out there for ACA. The same consequences are out there for our environment. And it really is up to us to fight those things. We've had other victories. Anyone support Nordstrom's or like to shop there? Yeah, exactly. I have a friend who has a little bit of a Nordstrom's addiction problem, and she was really relieved when she could go back. She had missed it a little bit. And that's obviously a bit of privilege that we can do that, but it's also another way that we can protest. Right? We can decide where we spend our money, and we can be informed about what companies are doing things that are good and that help our communities. So that's important to remember. So that being said, there are a lot of events going on. Anybody at the airport protests? So just like the march, the airport protests, and some of the other rallies that have been going on, kind of feed our soul a little bit, right? We get to come, we get to stand in community, we get to see that we are absolutely not alone in this, and that we can get things done. We have a critical mass of thousands of people, tens of thousands in San Diego, millions across the country, who are fired up and ready to go. We remember that phrase from Obama, and I think it still stays right now, right? He told us, don't agonize, organize. That's exactly what we're doing. So after the airport protest, we had the court decision come down, and that the ban, it's not in place. We know there's another one coming. We know there's a decision before the Supreme Court, most likely, and we're going to have to fight back on that one. And if you listen to the attorneys who are arguing those cases, they said it absolutely mattered that we were out in the streets, and that we were being heard, and that we were organized, because they were able to use that as evidence about where popular opinion is. So that's something we're going to have to keep up. It's also something that's nourishing and good for us to do. All right, so I want to talk about some of the tools that we have. Anybody call their member of Congress person? Exactly. So I was talking with a couple of staffers today, and they have definitely been overwhelmed and also impressed by the amount of calls that are coming in. People are very fired up. How many people live in CD 52 that are here? So Scott Peters is your member of Congress? Awesome. So I have good news. There has been a community town hall that's going to open up in Scott Peters' district that just got added to the recess schedule. And they heard people that wanted to talk to them. They heard that people wanted to ask questions and engage, and they responded. So that's fantastic. And that shows that we have a really good partner in them and an open line of communication, and they've already scheduled an even bigger town hall event for March when they could secure a bigger venue. So we're really lucky to have that, right? Same thing goes with our senators. They've been really responsive and they've been out in front. As California, how many Native Californians? Okay, a lot of Native Californians. I'm Native Californian. I think we have a special responsibility. We have a very unique opportunity and responsibility to lead this resistance. And that means that we can give cover to our senators, we can give cover to our members of Congress to be really bold and out in front of all of this resistance that's taking place. And besides just the resistance, we want them to forge progress. We want them to introduce bills, we want them to introduce legislation that presents a better picture of America. So how do we do that? You guys have made calls. Anybody email, write a letter, send a fax? Absolutely, because we want to be heard. Your smartphone is an awesome tool that we have. I thought I had mine. How many people use an app to help them direct their activism, like Countable, 5 Calls, Wall of Us? Okay, those are all fantastic. There is, oops, sorry, it's a little dark. I just want to make sure I listed them. A couple to keep in mind. Daily Action Alert. Anyone heard of that one?
Yeah.
Awesome. Countable we went over. I like Countable. It just has your members of Congress on it once you put in your zip code. And then it tells you how they voted on bills. And then you push a button and it directs you to their office. It's nice and handy. 5 Calls. How many 5 Calls, people?
Yeah.
Swing Left. So Swing Left is, it's an app and it's a website, but it's also just a really important concept. Like Brad mentioned, we have 3 members of Congress who are Democrats. We have 2 members of Congress, you might have heard about them, that we need to get rid of. And I have been telling people and encouraging people, that's our gift from San Diego to the rest of the United States. If we can get rid of Daryl Issa and Duncan Hunter.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen the pictures of the rallies that are taking place on what's called Resist Trump Tuesdays, the crowd in CD 50 and the crowds in CD 49 have been growing every single week. So if you're out in those districts, you're definitely not alone. And the rest of us are also more than eager and willing to come out and travel and strengthen that message that there are a lot of people that are upset and that want to change. If a member of Congress, Daryl Issa, Duncan Hunter, Jeff Flake in Arizona, for example, isn't listening to what's happening in rooms like this, and they aren't hearing us, and they aren't hearing footsteps in their sleep, actually, they're not paying attention. Because whether they know it or not, and they think we're going to get tired and go away, we're not. We're organizing, every day more people get involved, and we're getting stronger.
Where's the Resist Tuesday?
So Resist Trump Tuesday, anybody been to Resist Trump Tuesday? I see some familiar faces. Okay. Noon at Senator Feinstein's office. Then we all march over to Senator Harris's office. By about 1 o'clock, we're there. We've met their staffers every week and had a conversation and shared things that are really important to us. This coming week is going to be a focus on the ACA. How many people have ACA or know somebody on ACA or have a family member who has covered California? Okay. How many people have Medicare? Anybody? Medicare? Anyone with a pre-existing condition or know anyone with a pre-existing condition? Pretty much 100% of us have a reason to fight for ACA. And if fighting for healthcare and fighting for your loved one's healthcare isn't enough, I mean, there's plenty of others, but that's going to be our big push during the recess. There's also Resist Trump Tuesday events at 10 a.m. at Duncan Hunter's office and Daryl Ice's office. Okay. Anyone going to the immigration march on Saturday? Awesome. Fun fact, there's going to be a taco truck on every corner. Literally, the permits have been secured and there will be a taco truck on every corner of the march. So come hungry and come ready to buy some tacos and march. It sounds like a pretty good combination to me. And I thought that was a fantastic way to message by the folks who've been organizing that march. If you haven't been out at a march or a rally since the election, I really strongly urge you to come because these are those opportunities that we need when things get really dark. Let's see, after that we have a couple more events coming up. The March for Science is coming up. The Climate Change Rally is coming up. If you're having trouble keeping up with the number of events that are coming up, and you're getting flooded on social media, you're getting flooded on Twitter, your email box is getting flooded, we have a website.
It's getting there. The website's getting there.
Okay, it'll be San Diego.
It will be it's getting there.
Okay, awesome. So that'll be a great way. It'll be indivisiblesanDiegoCounty.org, and you'll be able to follow those much simpler. So I'm going to go ahead. Are we ready to move?
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and hand this back to Lori, and we're going to keep organizing.